This episode is not advised for listeners under the age of 18. Please proceed with caution. I'm Nikki Drees.
And I'm Cheryl.
And this is Killers, Cults and Queens.
The podcast where we journey to the spookiest, scariest, and downright weirdest corners of the world.
Today, we're exploring perhaps the most notorious unsolved cold case. It's the murder of Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia.
Well, twitch a window, yes.
Oh,
but
yes.
They're not out on the streets going, oh, look, oh. For the first time I'm probably saying this ever, well done, LAPD.
Yeah, I know. We haven't got time to daydream, so back to the story.
Oh, tale as old as star.
Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Well, in that case, let's go. Imagine running errands in your neighbourhood and you find something that would change your life, but not in a good way. You're up early, seizing the day, but as you're on your way, you see something on the side of the road, which is devastating and would lead to an ongoing murder mystery, which has spanned almost 80 years. Welcome to Killers, Cults and Queens. But before we dive into today's case, how's your week been, Ashes? What you been up to? Looking especially glamorous today.
Do you know what? She said we need some chic black ensembles for this episode. So I said, okay, let me just pull from the archives. I actually got this from my old wardrobe from drag in 2020.
Oh, this is archive.
I think I actually wore this on New Year's Eve 2019.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
nice.
It doesn't do up in the back, so don't look at the rear. But yeah, I just saw it and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to pull that out today.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've just had a fabulous couple days just going through the archives, just looking through because I keep everything up in my loft that's not in heavy rotation. And then sometimes I go for a little rummage and a spice up. Some things still won't fit me. Some we can make work. But I just like to have a trip down memory lane and go, oh, I'm going to bring that out. And unfortunately, I've got 10 years worth of drag just accumulated in amongst every pocket of my house. So no wonder I'm going to be like, oh, this seems new. I haven't worn it in 7 years.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter, does it? You know, currently I am undergoing the transformation of getting my loft cleared out because just about to have a loft conversion, which I've been waiting for ever since we moved into the house. And it's been 10 years in the making. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I found, and I knew I was missing 2 bags of clothes and they were in that loft somewhere.
No.
And we found them. So it's like 10 years ago. These haven't been looked at. So the other day, got them all out, emptied them all out. And I've got some of my favourite T-shirts back now. So it's been a long time. I've known they've been up there. But there was also a lot of crap that has gone to the charity shop. But it really was like a blast from the past. That style of the time as well.
Oh, skinny jeans, rolled up sleeve.
Wet look legging.
Yeah.
Long vest top, that kind of thing. So.
Oh, 2016. What a time to be alive.
Yeah. That's what we were into. It was very Coachella.
Bunnies.
Now, let's just take a moment to check out the sponsor of this series of Killers, Cults and Queens. It's Snag. Today, I am wearing their beautiful tailored trousers, which, let me tell you, I have not found trousers like this, a wide leg trouser that fits in such a perfect way. And it has adjustable metal clasps around the waist, which I don't know if you can see on the monitor, which I'm pulling out here.
Yes.
But means that you can actually snatch your waist in whatever size you are. And they're so comfy. They haven't got any stretch to the fabric at all, but it doesn't feel that way. Like sometimes when you're wearing these kind of trousers, they cut in and they don't fit properly or they don't sit right. So I do have a slightly protruding belly. They don't hug that shape either. So they sit nicely around it. But they're so comfy and they're so beautifully wide-legged. They sit lovely over my boots as well. I just can't beat them. The pockets are a perfect size. They fit my phone in without even noticing that my phone is in them. Yeah, I'm just so pleased with these. And you can just tell that they've been made with somebody thinking about people's body shapes in mind. It's not just like, oh, we're just banging this out because it's another fast fashion item. This is like actually properly thought about and tailored properly. So I'm super pleased with these. So if you want clothes that are made for you and your body and tested on people just like you, then head to www.snagtights.com to get yourself kitted out. You're going to love what they've got. Today, we're heading into arguably the most infamous cold case there has ever been. So have you heard of this one before, Shez? Because it is one that's been around the block a few times.
I'm sure it's been around the block, but also it's not been my block, and I'm Jenny, so I would know if it was my block. But I haven't heard of this Dahlia diva. She's not frequented my airwaves yet, so I'm very intrigued, especially if there's a lot of confusion around the case. It's got me excited. I'm not sure if excited is the correct word. It's got me intrigued.
Yeah, I would say intrigued is the right one in this case, because this one really is just like twisty, turny. It's been around for so long, almost 80 years we're looking at now. So This is an old case. And it has featured in several different things. At one point, it did pop up in American Horror Story in Series 1. So the Black Dahlia was in American Horror Story Series 1.
I'm going to have to go back and look.
Yeah, so apparently she only pops in for a little bit. There has been a couple of different films made about this case, and it just kind of leans into that sort of Hollywood noir, film noir sort of vibe. So
flapper hats.
Yeah, we're a little bit later than that. So we're kind of 1940s. So the war's just ended. So World War II's just ended.
I really don't know my history, do I?
Yeah, but flappers were only a little bit before that. So yeah, you're not far off. You're not far off. Well, it's time to get your glad rags on. I see you already have.
I got the memo.
Because we're off to old Hollywood in the 1940s and seeing if someone's going to make us a star.
Or a steak.
Oh, that's tickled me.
Good. My job here is done.
But just before we kick things off, please be warned that this case contains injury descriptions, as it is important to the retelling of this story, and mentions of torture. So if that's not for you right now, maybe listen to a spooky sleepover or something a little bit lighter. But I'm afraid you don't have that choice, so if you're ready, let's set the scene. It's a sunny morning in Los Angeles, California, on January the 15th, 1947. In a quiet suburb just a few miles outside of Hollywood, a mother, Betty Berzinger, is taking her 3-year-old daughter for a stroll. They have a few errands to run. Betty has a pair of shoes to get fixed, and so they're walking with purpose along the street. This is a new area of LA which is undergoing construction. A few little houses have started to be built, but many spaces are vacant. As the pair stroll by one of the empty lots, Betty notices something odd in the grass. A discarded mannequin. At least, she thinks it's a mannequin. As they get closer, Betty realises that this isn't what she thought. This is the body of a woman, white as a sheet, and placed on the grass in a weird position. She distracted her daughter so she didn't see the body, but Betty quickly took a closer look. As she did, she noticed something terrible. This naked woman had been cut in half at the waist. Her eyes were open and her mouth had been cut to form a permanent smile.
Oh!
Betty was shocked and horrified, but not wanting to inflict her fear of this horrific discovery upon her daughter, Betty calmly took her to a nearby house and asked to use their telephone. Within minutes, the police were at the scene on Norton Avenue. But they didn't know yet that this case would be a thorn in their side for years to come. So, who was this mystery woman, and who was responsible for such a brutal murder? Let's find out.
Question. You may not know the answer. Did this case inspire the Joker?
I think the Joker was around before this.
Really?
Hold the line, caller. 1940. This is 1947.
Damn.
So no.
Well, that got me. Okay, well, but that is so gruesome just to see on a morning stroll.
Yeah, and the fact that Betty didn't think this was real, and as she got closer was a bit like, hang on a minute, that looks a little bit too like a person. But good on her for not letting her daughter see that.
That could have been instant traumatization.
Yeah, that was some good parenting done by Betty there, which is not something we get to say very often.
Well, we haven't at all, season 5.
Exactly. So it's quite nice to say, well done, Betty, on that occasion. Well done.
That's a lot to go through. Thinking you've just seen a mannequin on a new residential area and bam, it's a body cut in half. Like, I want to know how we got to this point and what's beyond this.
Okay, well, get ready, because I'm about to tell you.
Oh, fabulous.
Now, we can't hang around in today's episode because we've got a lot to get through, because this case is huge and we probably could have done about 4 episodes on this one. So let's pick up straight away with our detectives on the scene. So the police have just received a call from Betty Berzinger, a local woman who was out running errands with her 3-year-old daughter when she discovers the horribly mutilated corpse of a woman. She protects her daughter from seeing it and raises the alarm by going to a nearby home and calls the police, simply saying, someone needs attending to.
Now, that's a bit too blasé to be doing a 911 call, in my opinion.
Well, I kind of get it, because if her daughter's nearby, she might not want to say, I've just found a dead body. So,
okay.
Yeah, I can see that she might.
I rescind my thoughts and my process, and I side with Nikki Drews.
Betty's main concern is her child. So in order to keep things normal, she goes on with her day. But later on, she does call the police back to let them know it was her that called them in the first place. When the police roll up on Norton Avenue, 2 detectives by the name of Harry Hansen and Finis Brown, which are the most 1940s cop names I've ever heard.
Harry Hansen
and Finis Brown. They have no idea what they're turning up to. But as they arrive on the street, they're not the first ones to get there. Nosy neighbours have come to take a look, and people are trampling all over the crime scene.
Well, there's no Netflix. This is their Disney Plus.
Yeah, and the public education just isn't there, I think, about crime scenes as well. People just don't really know.
Well, it's like on those soaps where you literally watch like Desperate Housewives and they're all on the street looking, oh, what's going on? Oh, look, a body's coming out of the house. Like, we don't do that.
If anything, I would try my best to be as distanced from it as possible, I think.
Well, twitch a window, yes.
Oh, yes.
I'm not out on the streets going, oh, look, oh.
Yeah, does it annoy you when people do that? It annoys me whenever I see people that are like getting too involved in things. You know, if something's happened on the street and you've got just Darren,
fuck off.
Just like go and do something else.
Get on with your day.
Yeah, stop being annoying. Can't help. So basically there's nosy neighbours everywhere and they're not helping the situation.
No.
So the police spot a very pale body in the grass. It's immediate that this is going to be more disturbing than your average murder victim. This woman has been clearly posed. Her arms are up above her head in a V shape. Her legs mirror this below. But the most shocking thing, she's been cut in half at the waist. Around her neck, ankles and wrists are bruises which look like she has been tied up. She has a head wound which looks like she's been hit with a heavy blunt object. And perhaps the most disturbing thing of all, her green eyes are wide open and her mouth has been cut into a smile. There are other things that have happened to her body, but for the sake of Elizabeth and not giving you all the disturbing details, I'm going to leave them out. But,
thank you.
But it didn't look like she'd been sexually assaulted, so at least there's that.
Okay.
The police are shocked at what they've found. This is not like any murder victim they found before. And the strangest thing of all, it seems like she has been entirely drained of blood.
This isn't a quick job then?
No, I think we're looking at a number of days that somebody has had this body.
What the hell has happened?
Pretty grim to think about, isn't it?
I'm trying to process this. She's got physical wounds from being restrained.
Mm-hmm.
She's had all of her blood drained from her body. She's had a smile cut into her face and then cut in half. What was this person's intentions? I am so bewildered by this.
Yeah.
And then to just, not even just dump, just to pose her, not well.
No, not well at all. So if Elizabeth's injuries had happened where she lay or nearby, then there would be a hell of a lot of blood around. But there's not one single drop. Whoever placed this woman here drained her blood before they moved her. The police quickly take the woman's fingerprints. They send them back to the station, and within the hour, they have a match. This woman was 22-year-old Elizabeth Short. But why did the police have her fingerprints? Well, a few years previously, she'd been caught for underage drinking. This meant that the police also had her mugshot on file. She also once had a job in admin working for the military, so they'd taken her prints there too for security reasons. So this was actually some great, fast detective work. Not what we're used to normally. So we've got good parenting and a little bit of good police work here.
For the first time I'm probably saying this ever, well done, LAPD.
Yeah, I know. So this is a horrific find, isn't it, Shez?
Yeah.
So what are you thinking off the bat here with your detective hat on?
I just think this has been a hookup gone wrong. She's come into encounters with somebody, been led down the wrong path, and all of a sudden she's in this situation she can't get out of, and this person's just taken great advantage of her. That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah. To me, obviously I know the story, but if I was to encounter this for the first time, my immediate thoughts were maybe she is a sex worker, maybe she's been picked up, and maybe this is just some really sick person that has decided to do whatever they want to do with her, and this is the situation that she's been left in. So that's kind of what my first thoughts were.
Yeah, that's the route I'm going down, but I'm curious as to see where we end up, or if we even end up there.
So now we know who this person is, let's find out a little bit more about her. The victim was 22-year-old Elizabeth Short. She was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston. Do you want a Boston pizza?
Nobody makes pizza like Chicago. It's not the right place.
I beg to differ.
Her childhood was a little bumpy, but nothing too awful. Her dad, Cleo Short, did walk out on the family when she was just 6 years old. But here's the kicker. Elizabeth's mum, Phoebe, thought that he was dead.
What?
But why did she think that? Well, Cleo abandoned his car at the Charleston Bridge in Boston. He then moved to California, but he didn't think to actually let anyone know. So I think we can chalk him up as a bit of a shit. So we're back on track now.
We've got the shitheads making their way through again.
Yes. Elizabeth, or Beth as she liked to go by, was one of 5 daughters, the classic middle child. And it seems her mum did a good job of bringing up the kids on her own. So we're back to the good parenting.
Okay, fabulous.
Beth had some medical problems when she was growing up. She had lung issues, which caused chronic asthma. And at the age of 15, she had an operation to help. However, in the interest of ongoing care and treatment, her doctors advised her that warmer climates would be better for her. So her mother shipped her off frequently to Florida to family friends for the sake of her health. If only we treated medical conditions like that nowadays. That would be lovely. I'd just 6 weeks in the Caribbean and I'll be right as rain.
Oh, guys, could you just send me to Antigua, please? I need to just work on my knee pain, please. That only the sun can do that.
Yes, that would be lovely. We'll just have a little trip. We'll put it on the expense account.
A non-existent expense account.
We don't have one. But we haven't got time to daydream, so back to the story.
Oh.
Elizabeth found this warm climate helped her, but she found it difficult to stay in school because of all the toing and froing, so she dropped out. A little bit later on, Elizabeth's mum, Phoebe, got a surprise letter in the post. It was from Cleo, her supposedly deceased husband.
Oh, God, what did he want?
So Cleo said he was alive and well and living in California. He made a big apology about everything he'd done and for, making everyone think that he was dead.
Well, shithead, of course people are going to think you're dead if you just go MIA for 15 years.
Leave your car by a bridge.
Yeah.
And then fuck off.
How did you keep going?
I have no idea. Less time spent on him, the better.
Please.
And so Phoebe broke the news to her girls that actually their dead dad was a lying piece of shit and he was actually still alive after all.
But of course.
So after getting over the initial shock of thinking her father was dead, Beth Short decided she would take a trip to see her dad in Vallejo in California. She liked it so much there that she decided she would move there. After all, she had been medically advised to seek out a warmer climate, and so this would suit her well. Now, we have to remember that this was all going on during World War II. Granted, America didn't really have much skin in the game until it was well underway in 1941, but it was a world war, so it did affect pretty much everywhere. This meant that job opportunities were available working in admin for the military, and so Elizabeth got herself signed up. The sweet reunion she'd wanted with her father hadn't really gone to plan, and Elizabeth had a wild streak to her, so she wanted to go out and drink and party and make friends in her new town. As she got herself a job, she was able to start saving up to move out, and after she met a sergeant on the military base she was working on, she shacked up with him. But the fairy tale didn't work out. This boyfriend was a violent drunk, and Beth often bore the brunt of it. So she quit her job and found a new one in the next town along and left him.
Now, we know through many cases and many stories that it is so tricky to get out of these situations. So I've really got to commend her for saying, no, I have to get out. I have to leave. Mm-hmm. So I'm very proud of her in this moment.
Yeah, because it can be tricky, can't it? It can be really hard. In her new town of Santa Barbara, Beth was happy. She made new friends and was often out on the town on the weekends in the bars. Except there was only one problem. Beth was 19 and the drinking age was 21.
Hasn't stopped me before.
Definitely didn't stop me. One night at a bar, she and her friends were drinking and it got raided by the police. They asked to see her ID and uh-oh, she didn't have one. And it just reminds me of that scene in Hot Fuzz.
Excuse me.
What?
When's your birthday?
22nd of February.
What year?
Every year. Get out.
My date of birth is 15th of the 6th, 85. My meet Gemini. Oh, date of birth did I just say?
It's totally that.
Yeah.
Elizabeth was arrested for underage drinking, her mugshot was taken, and her fingerprints stored. After this, the cops told her mum what she'd been up to, and it seems she was told to go back to Massachusetts by the cops, or she decided to go home herself. We're not entirely sure. Anywho, she's back in Boston, but she doesn't want to be, so she heads off to the family friends in Florida once again. Whilst in Florida, in 1945, she meets another army man, Pilot Matthew Gordon. They were together for about a year, and after Gordon survived an air crash overseas, he proposed to Elizabeth via letter from his hospital bed, and he promised that he'd marry her when he was better.
She's got a bit of a type, doesn't she?
Yes. It's believed Beth said yes, but soon tragedy struck. Matthew's plane was gunned down during the war before he could make it back home for the wedding.
Oh, this girl really can't catch a break, can she?
No, it's pretty sad stuff, isn't it? Military men, by the looks of it, do seem to be a bit of a type for her.
I mean, she likes the uniform.
A man in uniform. World War II was now drawing to a close, and many army men were returning home. This led Elizabeth to reconnect with an old boyfriend who had been drafted during the war, and she moved out to Los Angeles to be with him. In Los Angeles, the film industry was booming. This was the height of the golden age of Hollywood and the starlet. You had such huge names as Lauren Bacall, Lana Turner, Rita Hayworth, Judy Garland, and our favourite, Angela Lansbury.
Oh, Taylor's oldest star.
Every single time.
Every single episode.
So it was an exciting time to be in LA, and Elizabeth was soaking some of that up. Now, it's said that Beth was a big fan of the movies, and due to her dashing good looks, jet black hair, pretty smile, and piercing green eyes, she'd give acting a shot, as surely a pretty young thing like her could find herself on a big stage.
Oh, I've always dreamed of being in the movies.
In the movies, on the big stage.
On the silver screen.
The razzle-dazzle.
I'm a Jennifer Coolidge.
Ow! During this time, Elizabeth waited tables, and while she doesn't have any acting credits attributed to her, it's thought she was going after auditions and may have had some minor jobs here and there. But she was likely more successful as a model, even though there's very little evidence to support this claim. Some people believe the struggling actress part of Elizabeth's story was thrown in to make the narrative surrounding her seem more interesting. But let's face it, she's a pretty girl living in Hollywood waiting tables. Chances are she's had a few chats with casting directors and has ended up at an audition or two. But that would be the same for most young women living in LA at that time, let's face it.
Even now.
Elizabeth Short is living in Los Angeles. She's a Boston girl, but she's enjoying the buzz of LA. Reports say that Elizabeth had now stopped dating her former ex-boyfriend, and the pair had split up. She moved on a little while later to a travelling salesman named Robert Manley, who went by the name of Red. Red and Elizabeth went away together for a quick trip to San Diego for a few days. And upon returning on January the 9th, 1947, he dropped her at the classic old Hollywood hotel, the Biltmore, in downtown LA.
I'm having absolute PTSD.
This isn't another Cheryl Poop location, is it?
No, it's where we've stayed countless times when I've done DragCon LA. And it literally, still to this day, looks like a 1940s hotel.
Red said Elizabeth had been excited as her sister was coming to stay. And I bet she was looking forward to meeting her at the Biltmore because it doesn't get much more fancy than that, does it? And you'd know.
I mean, you should see the lobby.
Please see the 2002 music video for Overprotected by Britney Spears because you will see the lobby in that. But this was the last place Elizabeth was seen alive. Staff in the hotel said she'd used the payphone there and then maybe she left. Look, it's a busy lobby. They're not keeping an eye on everyone. She didn't have a room booked, so we know she wasn't planning on staying, unlike you.
I mean, I was stuck there for 5 days.
Some people said she was in and around the lobby for several hours. She was seen in a cocktail bar a few doors down, and it seems like maybe her sister stood her up, but we don't know that for certain. After that evening at the Biltmore, the next time Elizabeth Short is seen is when her body is found on Norton Avenue on January the 15th, so almost a week later.
Crazy.
We won't go over the specific details of how her body was mutilated again, but it's safe to say this was not your bog standard murder. The fact she was in 2 pieces with signs of torture upon her body shows this was someone who was very specific and methodical about the way in which they killed her. Could this have been someone with medical knowledge? The cut across the torso was incredibly clean, and I have studied the crime scene photos, so you don't have to.
Thank you.
And the cut to her mouth was also seemingly done with an appropriate tool, not just your bog standard knife. It is true that there is very little blood around her body, and so again, we're looking at someone who would have had access to the materials, space, and undisturbed time to do this. It's clearly someone who has a large space, tools, and people around them that don't ask questions, or they're a complete loner. What we have to remember is that back in 1947, forensics was still an emerging science, and it would be a long way off before we would have the sophisticated systems the police rely upon today. Did Elizabeth have any enemies? Was she in trouble with any gangs, or was this the work of an unhinged ex-boyfriend? The annoying thing about this case is that forensic scientists have said if this murder happened today, it would be very easy to solve because the body would be covered in fingerprints and DNA. But back then, they just didn't have that technology, so there was no way of pursuing it.
No.
So what did the police try and do to track down Elizabeth's killer? Well, remember I said I was impressed with their original police work? Well, expect that to quickly change.
But of course.
The first steps the cops took in identifying Elizabeth Short were pretty impressive. But after that, things rapidly go downhill. First off, we know the crime scene was already compromised by the time they turned up, but they failed to close it off once they arrived. This meant people were coming and going and traipsing all around Beth's body, potentially treading on clues. Any footprints or tyre tracks are all now destroyed, and so the LAPD have just made their jobs 10 times more difficult without even realising it. So let's zoom out a minute from this specific case to look at crime in LA as a whole at this time. To put it politely, it was a shit show.
Rife.
There were race riots, unsolved murders, illegal gambling, and police corruption everywhere. And it's safe to say the police were stressed.
Well, you could say that again.
So you have a police force that's being widely criticised by the public. They're under-resourced and overworked, and it seems like they're losing their grip on control. Now, with this new gruesome murder victim turning up as well, this just seems to prove that point. So they scramble to make it look like they're getting their man. They instantly put out a call for information on Elizabeth Short and her last known movements. They get some good intel back, but because the story has already gone wild in the press with false info being circulated, it starts to make things messy.
Oh, I feel like this is messy from the jump. From the minute they didn't close off that crime scene, it's just going to be a snowballing effect that turns into an avalanche of mess. It's like trying to tidy your bedroom.
Yeah.
Mess.
It's trying to tie your shoelaces if you've got greasy fingers.
Mess.
It's just not going to happen, is it? This makes it very difficult to differentiate what are real leads and what are just tire kickers with nothing better to do than just winding up the police. Newspapers and journalists have the job of selling papers, so they publish photos of the crime scene. Luckily, they release edited images so as to not scar people for life, because that smile, that ain't getting out of your head anytime soon.
Imagine you see that on the front page. Thank God they edited it.
But they get hold of Elizabeth's mugshot and several other photos, and before you know it, this pretty dead girl is selling papers. And don't worry, the irony isn't lost on me that we're making a podcast about it, but I am keeping it PG compared to what they were publishing. So stories about Elizabeth start to surface. Journalists are publishing sweeping statements, and of course, they're more than likely paying people because, come on, what you gonna do about it? I'm gonna make a paper. I'm gonna sell it.
I'm loving this Nikki Drew School of Acting today.
I don't even speak like that in LA. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Maybe they did in the 1940s.
What you gonna do about it?
When's a your adult meal day?
The papers start speculating that an address book belonging to Elizabeth was full of men's phone numbers and that she may have been a high-class sex worker because she was pretty and often wore black clothes and had jet black hair. So they gave her the nickname the Black Dahlia.
Now, what does Dahlia mean? I thought it was just a name.
Dahlia is a flower.
Oh.
You can call it Dahlia as well.
At least her nickname was a nice one.
This gives the crime a name which sounds sexy and intriguing and also mirrors a film noir that's just come out called The Blue Dahlia, which is about a wife cheating on her husband who then kills her.
Oof.
So now people are getting all sorts of confused about the story. They're mixing fact up with fiction and it all becomes a big fat mess. Poor Elizabeth's tragic murder is now being treated as something from a Hollywood movie and not a case with real people and real families involved. People begin to forget their humanity and the Black Dahlia is plastered across many a front page. All the while, her family are upset and trying to grieve. But guess what? It gets more disturbing from there because journalists track down Elizabeth's mother's phone number and they start calling her home.
At this point, does her mother know she's dead?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not that I'm saying that's any better, but imagine finding out that your daughter's dead via a journalist wanting the scoop.
I think it was a journalist that did actually break it to her. I don't think it was police that broke it to her. I think journalists got hold of her phone number beforehand.
For goodness sake. Look, this is why the whole system is so corrupt.
They're not thinking about actual real life people in this situation, are they? They're
No.
putting profit over everything else. They try and extract details from her about her daughter to publish as quotes, and they pretend to be the police, the bank, and even lawyers to squeeze out information. But don't worry, the police were in cahoots with the press too, because there was clearly an informant passing on information in return for money, because suddenly there were insider details from the case being published in the press. So that's nice as well, isn't it?
I mean, I'm sick of this. I know it's 80 years ago, but it just angers me that people would even do this.
Yeah, it's just not a good situation all round. Now, of course, with all these gory details and a false narrative fueling the public, the false confessors start coming along. There's multiple false confessions from men and surprisingly women, all saying they're the killer. And every confession has to be investigated. So, of course, this just eats into police time and resources, which they already don't have.
Overcrowded and underpaid and not enough time.
It's no doubt the murder of Elizabeth Short captivated the imagination of the public. But was it because of the truth or the sensationalised version of the story they read in the press that was wildly untrue? From the moment the police arrived on the scene, it seems they never stood a chance of solving this case. Did they realise they were out of their depth and purposefully messing things up so they could blame the press? Or did they just simply bungle a case which may well have been easily solved? Or was this just another dead woman found in the grime of Los Angeles, a town which was becoming ungovernable? Did Elizabeth Short's family have a shot at justice? Or was the case closed before they even began? Next time, we'll investigate the suspects the police zeroed in on, the ones which have been identified later down the line, and discover how one police insider may have cracked the case nearly 80 years after it happened. And that was part 1 of the murder of Elizabeth Short. So how do you feel after all that, Shez?
Well, firstly, 1, I'm still a bit traumatised from hearing the crime scene. 2, I just want some justice for this poor woman. That's all I want, because nobody should be murdered, ever.
No.
But heaven forbid you have justice. And that's why unsolved cases really just play on my mind, because I'm just like, there has to be some resolve.
Someone knows something. It's always the case. Somebody knows something.
Even 80 years later.
Yeah.
Coming up next time on Killers, Cults and Queens.
We'll be picking up with part 2 of this story and investigating the many suspects in the Black Dahlia murder case. So make sure you have your corkboard and your string ready, because you're going to need it.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on Thursday with part 2 of this case.
And we want to hear from you. We'll be discussing your thoughts and theories this Friday on the Spooky Sleepover bonus show. So pop us an email at killerscultsqueens@gmail.com.
Or drop us a DM on Instagram at killerscultsqueens, or leave a comment on our Spotify or YouTube page, or send us a message over on Patreon, as we would love to hear from you all.
A big thanks to Snag for sponsoring this series of Killers, Cults and Queens. If you want clothes that are comfy, great quality and fit your body perfectly, make sure you check them out at snagtights.com. If you've been affected by any of the themes in this episode, please have a look at the description for lots of helpful resources.
Remember, you can watch our full-length episodes over on YouTube and now on Spotify too. And you can come join our exclusive community over on Patreon at patreon.com/Killers, Cults, Queens, where you can get ad-free and early access to our episodes.
See you next time, and don't be a killer or join a cult.
Just be a fabulous queen. Goodbye.
Goodbye.